Hello Aquarius, Elsie here to do a reading for you. It is for the week ahead. How are you, my Aquas? I hope you're well. Thanks so much for clicking here. Look, I got some oracles. We're going to get an overall feels for the week ahead, and then we are going to throw down some tarot and get some details. So how you been doing? I hope you are good. I hope your weekend was amazing. And let's find out what's going on for you. Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter. Hey, guess what's coming up? There is on Friday the 8th, we are having the Lionsgate portal, and so this is a really great time for intention setting. So look, it's available for everybody depending on how tuned you are into yourself is how you will use this portal, but it is a time of alignment because Earth, the Sirius star system, and Orion's belt are all in alignment. So it's an auspicious day, and because it's on the 8th month of the 8th day, numerologically, it is very powerful, signifying abundance, power, and infinity, right? So it's a great time for manifesting, clearing old wounds, and activating soul gifts. Right? Maybe you'll get some upgrades. I like to say your software upgrade might be coming. And, psychic abilities might appear during this time. Let's find out what's going on. For you, Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter. Oh, and by the end of this video, I will be telling you how to get a private read or to find the extended if you're interested. All right, here we go. Ascending the mountain. That's what I said. Some of you are just going to be getting the software upgrade. Feels like you're going to be getting some sort of psychic upgrade here, Aquarius. It says here, keep going forward. So please don't stop moving. It might feel a little bit exhausting because it might be a lot of power. It might be overpowering. But ascending the mountain tells me that you've been on some sort of path for a while, headed towards something that you are looking forward to as an accomplishment. But I think that you see obstacles in the distance. So I feel like the path that you've been on for a while, maybe you've been walking through the barren land, like maybe through the desert. But it feels like what's coming up is that there are some obstacles possibly coming. But I feel like you're going to ascend those obstacles with no problem. For some of you, this is also telling me ascending the mountain tells me, going up the mountain, getting to the peak. It's like you're getting some sort of ascension. So it feels like you might be getting sharper in your soul gifts, like, your intuition or maybe psychic abilities. We have first light. It says beginning a new cycle. I like it. So look, the new cycle is here, and when you decide to walk through that portal, I feel like you are going to be on the other side of something really abundant. Got a full moon. Maybe you're going to be letting go of some old wounds or things that you don't want to necessarily carry around with you. Here we go. Let's find out what else is coming up for you, Aquarius. We've got patience. Now, I think you've got that in spades. The fixed signs usually do because you're very analytical. For sure, you don't miss a damn thing, Aquarius. You know what's going on all the time. You don't miss a word. You don't miss an eye roll, an eyebrow raise. You don't miss any of it, right? So I feel like being patient right now while you are heading toward what looks like maybe it could be an obstacle or maybe a really long uphill climb. Just be patient here and just yield to whatever wants to go by you. You can go at your own pace. You don't have to go with the traffic. You don't have to go as quick as everyone else is. Just take your time and be patient. Yield to whomever or whatever wants to come by. Let them do what they're going to do. We do have love in the distance. We do have first light. So it tells me the beginning of a new cycle, and it could be a new love cycle for you, Aquarius. I'm just saying it could be love of self because we do have an 8. We are talking about 8s, by the way, right? 8 is the portal. We do have boundaries. Make sure your boundaries are in place. The E word, emotions. So it feels like you need to get your emotions in balance, emotions. And the fence tells me you need boundaries in love. I feel like I have never met an Aquarius who wasn't just overly giving. You're always giving. And so I feel like, takers will take as long as you give. And so I feel like you have to kind of roll it in just a little bit. I'm going to say that there is love to be had here, but I think you need to have some boundaries when it comes to relationships or love. And look, the right person is going to understand it and respect the boundaries, right? Tell me what else is coming up for Aquarius. Tell me about Aquarius. We have death. Oh, interesting. Something is changing here. Very interesting. So we do have change. It says here that I am learning that endings are merely beginnings. So you might be going through the letting go process right now. You might be letting go of something. You know, when you've been on this path for a while and you see that there are obstacles in the distance, like mountains you might have to scale, it might look insurmountable. But I think if you put down some of your things, that it might be a little bit of an easier climb when you're not dragging things around. So I feel like it's time to let go of some things. Could be ideas, but it could be that maybe these look like obstacles, because look, in the tarot, mountains and mountain ranges can be look like obstacles, but they're also achievements. And so it could be an achievement you're looking at, but it looks like an obstacle from a distance. We have grief. It says, I understand that losing something is an opportunity to appreciate it. Well, isn't that interesting? So it feels like there's been a death here, possibly an ego death, or maybe you have had a realization that a relationship you're in or something that you're doing is not what you want to be doing. Because it says here there's a bit of grief, but it also says that you're starting to understand that that when you lose something, it's an opportunity to appreciate it. So it tells me that you've had an ending with something, someone, or a situation, and now you might be looking back at that situation saying, maybe I shouldn't have let that go. Maybe I should have appreciated that more while I had it. All right, let's look at the tarot. Let's find out what's going on with the tarot. Just moving my foot here. I fractured my toe on the weekend doing some hiking and going in and out of bodies of water that had a lot of rocks. So I'm feeling I got my foot up here and it's a little uncomfortable. I hope you're doing good. I hope you had a beautiful weekend and enjoyed some weather. I did for sure. All right, let's take a look here. Oh, the tarot. Yes, we've got a new tarot deck here. I've got a new tarot deck. It's the Marchetti Tarot, and it's beautiful. And I love Ciro Marchetti's illustrations. They really light up my brain. Let's find out what's going on here for you. See what this tarot deck is going to tell us about Aquarius. All right. So we have the Six of Pentacles, Aquarius. It does look like you have to make some decisions, and the decisions are about who are you going to give to, what are you going to give to them, and how much are you going to give. So keep going forward, tells me. Don't stop being the same, person who is a giving, loving person. You're the humanitarian, right? You're always going to stop to help the person on the side of the road. You're going to stop to help anybody who needs your help. And I feel like you're not supposed to stop doing that, but I think you're really supposed to be a little bit more discerning about who you give your time, your talents, your energy, your money to. Because, although the Six of Pentacles can be about reciprocal energy, giving and taking and giving and taking, it's not always. Sometimes it can be a little bit of breadcrumbing because we have 3 pentacles on one side and 2 on the other. So it's telling you really be discerning about how much you're giving to one person and how much you're giving to another. Of course, you'd give more to someone who had nothing, and you'd give less to someone who has a lot. So you're supposed to be just a little more discerning as you ascend the mountain and get more wisdom and realization that the obstacle could be that the universe is trying to bring it to your attention that you've been giving the same amount to everybody, and it's time to be a little bit more discerning about who you're giving your time, energy, talents, and money to. So we've got yield, and yield is, holding back a little bit, letting everyone else go forward, and I feel like you're almost there. I'm going to say with the 10 of Cups here that you feel like you don't have what you want, but I feel like you're only a few decisions away from getting what you want. And one of those decisions might be to just sit down and watch the world go by for a bit. Let everyone else run to the front of the line, right? Let everyone else go get the first iPhone. Let everyone else stand outside the store for hours waiting for whatever it is that they want. And when the line clears, then you'll walk in and out with whatever you want. So I feel like the 10 of Cups is telling me what you want is happiness. We're not talking about buying things. I think that we're talking about happiness. We're talking about emotional happiness, like the apex of happiness. We've got some dolphins jumping there. How many we got? 1, 2, 3, 4 dolphins. So you've got happiness. Dolphins have been known to breach the surface when they're really happy. And so I feel like this is happiness in the soul, right to your toes kind of happiness, because it's Pisces. So I think intuitively that if you wait, if you're patient, that the right one will come along, or the right situation that you'll be able to get some happiness from. Well, listen, this is interesting. We've got The Ten of Swords and Death. Aquarius, I feel like this is no coincidence. I feel like something has come to a terrible halt for you. It feels like it was something, a plan you were following. You had a hope or a dream, or you had made a plan and this is the way you wanted to go, and you had a goal, and it feels like that dream came crashing down, that it wasn't exactly working out the way you thought it would. It feels like the Ten of Swords tells me this is a painful ending. So the pain of knowing that the dream you had and something that you had an idea about, or had a thought that maybe it would last a little bit longer, it did not. And if this is you, that you're going through this, to me this is permanent death. It's not, it's like permanent ending of something. It's like you're never going back to that thing. So you're just going to close the door, leave the room, leave the place, leave the relationship, and it's done. So and it feels like it's going to be rather painful, and it feels like it's already dying, or it's already to the place where you know there's no recovery. And I'm not talking about a person. I'm talking about a situation or a relationship, or a way that you were thinking, a way of thinking. So it feels like it's been slowly dying, and now next week or the week ahead is the absolute end. And when death comes up with the Ten of Swords for me, there's no going back. That's it. It's done. You're not even going to the next cycle. Like, you're not going to try again with the Ace of Swords. You're just going to be done and walk away. Tell me why the Six of Pentacles is here. I think you have to be careful about where you place your energy, because you're going to need it all to ascend the mountain. But keep moving forward nonetheless. You can make the decisions on the fly. We've got the Page of Pentacles. We've got the King of Wands. And we've got the Ace of Cups, which is in the reverse. So I feel like you are leaving behind... it feels like the Ace of Cups being in the reverse is something that you thought you were really going to love, turned out to be something that you didn't actually fall in love with. It looked from a distance, I feel like it looked like a good idea, because the mountains can be achievements from a distance, but maybe you get closer and realize that the mountains are actually obstacles. So I want to say that possibly there wasn't an even give and take here. It feels like it is either a job or a relationship or a friendship where you thought that from a distance that they were giving you as much as you were giving them. And I don't mean in money, I mean sort of in energy and time and support and that kind of thing, in love, emotional support. And so it feels like that's not what it was. And as you get closer, you found out that these achievements, like the achievement you thought of getting the job, being in the relationship, I think that you realized that it was actually an obstacle. And the obstacle is that someone else, it's not that they didn't want to give it to you, Aquarius. I feel like they couldn't understand. Like, I feel like, you can't get blood from a stone, right? Like, it was just something that was impossible. You can't make a fish climb a tree. Like, it feels like they didn't have it to give to you because they didn't have an understanding of it. They didn't possess it. They didn't learn about it. So it wasn't anything that you did wrong. So we have the Page of Pentacles. It tells me that somebody here was immature. Or if it was a job, they weren't willing to pay you what you were worth. But, you're the King of Wands in this scenario here at the beginning of the week. You're the King of Wands. So you have wisdom, you have knowledge and learning, you have mastered your passions, you have passions. Like, I feel like you're somebody who is of a higher caliber. You're a king. You're running the kingdom. And I feel like you ran into somebody who was a page, who is working on it, but they just don't have the time, talents, money, and energy that you have. And so it could have been an age difference. It could have been an economic difference. But I think it was a difference in understanding. So, think about a 10-year-old. What do they know about real, deep, abiding love? They don't really. They know the love of a parent. They know the love of a friend. But they don't know what romantic love is. And so when you find someone who's 10 years old and try to explain it to them, they won't understand. They don't have the capacity. But someone who is older, someone who's in their 30s or 40s or 50s, has a very deep understanding of love, a deeper understanding because of their wisdom. So I think that's what's going on here. It feels like it wasn't anything that you did wrong or that you weren't worth it. It feels like that it was out of balance, right? We can see that there's out of balance, 3 on one side, 2 on the other. And I feel like you were ready to give that person a pentacle and say, okay, here, if I give you a pentacle, it'll be even. But you can't do that, because really then you have 4 pentacles and they have 2. Now you're doubling up on what you give and they're not giving anything. And I don't think it was to, anything they didn't want to do here, Aquarius. I think they wanted to. I just don't think they had the capacity to. They didn't know how. Tell me about the midweek. Let's talk about this 10 of Cups here. I think that you should be patient because love is coming. It may not be it may not be the happiness, like this may not be the happy situation, the happy job, the happy situation, or the love situation that you wanted it to be, but I feel like it's still available to you. And obviously, not obviously, but honestly, I think it might be with an Empress, because I feel like card number 3 is the number of the Empress in the tarot, and I feel like it's I feel like you need to wait to meet a person who's at your level, because you're a king, right? And we only see one king here, but you could be an emperor. I don't know. We'll see what shows up here. Tell me about the 10 of Cups. I feel like that's where your happiness is, and someone who knows themselves, has wisdom, has the depth of love, can give you in return what you give to them. We have the Page of Swords. We have the Queen of Swords. And we have the 9 of Swords in the reverse. So I'm going to say, don't worry. The 9 of Swords is in the reverse, and the Queen is here. The Queen's going to add her sword to the 9, and the 10 is here. So the 10 of Swords being here, it is time to give it up. It's time to hold back, be patient, and look at the situation from a distance. We've got the Page of Swords and the Queen of Swords. Again, an indication of a page and a queen. We've got a page and a king. Do you see what I'm saying? So it feels like there is no more worries. I feel like you're not supposed to worry, because the universe is going to help you take care of what needs to be taken care of in divine timing. The Queen of Swords is the only job that you have to do is to be really honest with yourself. This could be your energy, right? Libra, Gemini, or Aquarius. This is Libra, but it's swords, right? That's the energy of the mind, and being really honest and truthful. I feel like you need better boundaries when it comes to, there's non-negotiables you need to have when it comes to your happiness. And the Page of Swords is here. I feel like with the Page of Swords, it's asking you to be curious, to really look around, to measure things in a way that you understand to be truthful to yourself and your intuition. Feels like you're supposed to dig a little more for the 10 of Cups. Instead of taking the low-hanging fruit, maybe it's time to climb up the tree and see what's up top. I feel like it's time for you to stop worrying. There is another way. You need to hold back and be patient. Love is here, or happiness is here, whatever it is for you. And I feel like it simply is by being honest with yourself. And when you are honest with yourself, I think you bring something to the final end. The final end where you're just not going to be going back to it ever again. So it feels like you're maybe selling a home, or you could be moving out of a community, or leaving a relationship, or quitting a job. It feels like it is something that is good for you, good for your heart space. And it feels like it's like the clearing out of the old, because we're at the beginning of a new cycle. And although there is going to be sadness and grief, I think, I feel like you are realizing that you left something that possibly you left something for something else that you thought looked like an achievement in the future. And I feel like now you're realizing that the thing that you left behind was probably the thing that that you are appreciating now. Tell me about the 10 of Swords. I hope this is making sense. I feel a little disjointed in my speech these days. Mercury retrograde is really doing a number on my communication skills this time around. Okay. It always manifests something different for me each cycle. Tell me about the 10 of Swords. We've got the Hierophant. We've got the 2 of Swords. And we've got the Lovers. So I think this is a really, really big decision for you to make. So I feel like you probably were in some sort of commitment. Now, whether you had committed to the contract of a job, or whether you had committed to a relationship, I think you hit a wall. You hit a block. The 2 of Swords is here. You hit a block and you realized, I can't do this anymore. I've got to make a decision to cut something out. And the thing is you already said you'd do it. And the thing about you, Aquarius, is when you say you're going to do it, come hell or high water, even if it causes everything around you to burn to the ground, you will still do it, because you did it. You have honor that way. You are very factual that way, and you promised it, so you will follow through on it. And so I feel like you finally come to the realization that the commitment is done. There's really nothing else I can do here. I can only give so much. I can't do both sides of the relationship. I can't do both sides of, my side and the employer side of the job. I think that it's just insurmountable. Looking at these at these mountains in the distance, it looked like it was doable, but I don't think that it is. And I feel like you have decided that it's not. So the Lovers is here, and it does feel like you did make a commitment to someone to be in a partnership possibly, and possibly that you really do have love feelings for this person. But I feel like it's just not working the way you thought it would. Or this person wants marriage and you don't want marriage. Or you want marriage and this person doesn't want marriage. It feels like it has to do with the Hierophant is, the Hierophant's not going to change their path just because someone came along and gave them a different doctrine. The Hierophant's going to stay on the path with the doctrine that they know, and they're not going to change path just because someone suggested that they change the path. So I feel like there is something that has come to an end, but the only reason that you're bringing it to an end is because you didn't see any other way that it could be figured out. There wasn't any other way that you could figure this out. I'm trying to move my leg here. Hang on. Oh, okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about this in the extension. If you'd like to be in the extension, please look in the pinned comment. There is a pinned comment. Also, anything you need to know is in the description. In the pinned comment, you will find a link if you'd like to purchase this outright. If you'd like to just purchase this one extension, you can. There's a link there. If you'd like to go to the membership area, that's where all of my extensions are for every sign, if you'd like to go there. If you'd like a private read, all of that information is there. Please follow the link to Hypsee. You can look over my prices and packages that I have. There are sales on right now for live readings, for live private reads. And if you want to speak to me over the phone, face-to-face, through video, whatever you want to do, we can do that. You'll just need to book in advance in order to get your deal. Anywhere from 5 to 75% off the live reads. Let's throw 3 more cards to find out what we're talking about in the extension. We're going to clarify all of this. We'll get a little better idea of what's going on here. But we're also going to talk about the Queen of Wands. We're going to talk about the Knight of Cups. And then we're going to talk about the Five of Pentacles. There's somebody here that you're not speaking with, or you haven't been talking to, or you feel like they've shoved you out of their life. Maybe you're on the outside looking in. It does feel like it is a romantic connection with somebody that possibly is trying to attract you, or that they are feeling like you're feeling a pull towards them. It feels like you're ready to make some sort of a big, bold move, maybe about something romantic for some of you. Or it could be like this is the passive Knight as well. So it feels like maybe a tug and pull between fire and heart, between I want to go now, but maybe I should hold back. And it feels like there's been sort of a silence or an ending, or you're feeling pushed out of someone's life. We do have the Page of Wands. Feels like you do want to communicate with somebody, and we'll find out who that somebody is. We'll go into the extended and do a little more clarifying. See you there if that's where you are, and if this is where we part, that's okay, because I'll be back. I'm always back. Take care, Aquarius. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.